ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the fourth edition of the F1 Agenda podcast. I am your returning host, Callum or CRT, and I'm joined here today by Simon.
Hello.
Daniel.
Hello.
Lambrex.
Hello.
Jeebus. I think he's gone already.
He's muted.
Yep.
He's having
Geordie.
technical issues.
Hello.
And the returning Blackwall.
Hello.
Yep, that is everyone today for the podcast. We'll be talking in this podcast. We're talking about the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. The Baku, and I just want to first start off by saying, well, just leave it well.
Well done, Baku.
Well done, Baku.
Well done, Baku.
That was certainly an interesting race. I'd say just bruh. I enjoyed that. I'm just going to put it off the bat. I enjoyed it.
Yes.
It was quite a decent race.
It was quite good, yeah. Yeah.
Everything happened.
Thank you, Max, to provide
Spoilers.
activity.
Yeah, we'll get onto that later on. So we'll now just go through the standard stuff. So we're going to go through practice. And speaking of Verstappen, well, he had a little bit of a problem in practice, guys. If you want to elaborate on that.
Yep, another crash in free practice. Just his season just is just bad. It's not starting very well for him at the moment. And as well, we'll get onto it quite a lot later. It didn't get much better in the race, but spoiler alert.
And it's just not the start of his season he wants to have. He's not there.
He's had a lot of incident-filled trouble, both with crashes by himself and with other drivers.
Yeah, I don't think he hasn't actually had a clean weekend this season, which says a lot for how bad his start of the season has been.
No comment.
Poor Geordie.
He's just run out of talent.
Wow.
Triggered.
He was coming in with the opinions.
His first comment is that.
And now the comment section is just going to explode.
No, we're going to lose all our subscribers. They're all Verstappen fans.
Well done,
7 of them.
All 14 of them, yeah.
They've all stood for Geordie.
Yeah, Geordie's idea of Verstappen. Yeah, but I think we can all agree that it wasn't the best way to start his practice. After obviously in China, his collisions with Vettel was it was very, very well. I mean, it put him in a bad light, and I think that put him even more bad light going into this Grand Prix. So I think that was all we had for practice. Shall we move on to the qualifying for the race?
Yeah.
Yeah. It usually happens after practice.
The nothing happened in quali, nothing.
I mean,
I didn't.
No one really died.
You say,
Yeah. Let's give me that.
I mean, yeah, Gasly almost died.
Yeah.
That was nail biting.
Yeah.
Grosjean as well, quite unlucky. Again, a bad weekend for him. Breaking his gearbox while reversing.
Yeah, it was quite. I was watching the qualifying, and I was watching the incident with Hartley and Gasly. And Gasly, Hartley was saying, I was trying to move away, trying to get out of the way. You were in the middle of the racetrack with a puncher.
Well,
what the fuck were you going to expect?
But Gasly at the same time was right, and then they both go left.
The thing is, Gasly moves to the inside, but I think surely you'd want to stay on the outside because that was on the racing line. You know, it would have affected the braking line into the corner on the inside. So I know it's obviously a split-second decision of if there's a car in the middle of the road, which way do you go?
Well, what I saw and what I heard Hartley explain was he saw Gasly try and pull to the left to go for the inside line, going into the corner. So he moves out to the right to let him pass through. But Gasly sees he hasn't enough gap, so pulls out to the right, basically about to cause the crash.
Well, the thing is, the racing line goes left first, and then it comes back to the right before the corner. Yeah. So Hartley should have gone right. Do we actually know how we got the puncture?
He hit the wall. I think it was Castle, wasn't it?
He hit a bird.
Yeah. I hit the wall.
Yeah,
I think.
But I mean, to be
Yeah.
fair to the guy, he was completely, distraught after qualifying. It's not like he's an inexperienced driver. He just made a mistake.
Yeah, and I mean it happens. He's still a rookie in F1, so.
This guy's won Le Mans. He's no slouch.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see. Obviously, like he's. Oh no, okay. I was about to say, it's as you were saying, after qualifying, he looks like really down, and obviously he feels pretty bad because Gasly probably was going to get into Q2 as well, if he had cleared that.
He didn't just look down. It looked like he had just had the Gasly incident from his cockpit. He looked like a ghost.
Well, he knew how serious I think it was.
Yeah, he knew the consequences that could have had were immense.
Yeah, because Gasly genuinely could have,
He could have taken off.
He could have died.
catch fencing or even worse.
It
Yeah.
wouldn't even be the last
Yeah.
time.
I mean, yeah, I was about to say of catch fencing, like you see IndyCar. I remember Dan Weldon when he went to the catch fencing. I was just thinking back to then, that could have happened, and that's the risk you take in motorsports, obviously. But it was something that could have easily been avoided, and thankfully, nothing really bad happened.
It could have been a carbon copy of Gilles Villeneuve.
Yeah,
But
indeed.
thankfully, it wasn't.
Thankfully, nothing happened. So.
Yeah, got the good old halo to stop it if it happens anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I think that obviously that was a bit of a dark moment, but I'd say a light moment for one driver, and I think it's probably one of his only light moments for the whole weekend was Vettel getting another pole under his belt.
Again, great lap.
Another quali, another Kimi screw up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kimi had the pace.
Let's just, if we think about this, Kimi could have been pole the last 3 rounds. Let's just have a look at what could have happened there.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
that
Kimi was 2/10 up going into the corner where he had a
Yeah,
good
2/10
stop
up.
win.
Yeah, a lot of people had problems there.
Like-
That was a really hardcore to
I think
take.
Kimi had problems on both his laps. I think the first lap he rode the curb and nearly went into the wall, and the second lap he obviously dropped it nearly.
The thing is,
Uh,
knowing that Kimi was 2/10 up and the last sector is basically a long straight, he smashed that lap.
Mm.
Like that was. I was watching on board with obviously that qualifying, and then I saw Kimi. I was like, "Go on, do it!" Like, 'cause I want Kimi to succeed because I feel he's been pushed back by Ferrari,
Yeah.
and just seeing that, I was just like, "Purple, come on!" And he goes around the corner, and I'm just like, "Oh no!" Like when he literally got onto the curb, and I just literally just like, "Oh, that's him fucked, isn't it?"
No, it's just been this year that Kimi seems to have he seems to get into a really good rhythm with this. He seems to be either quick. He can equal Vettel, he's equaled him nearly every race this year.
I think it's
So he's on the pace.
It's the rebirth of Finnish driver because Valtteri is doing great as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's debatable.
Well, we'll talk about it later.
Yeah, but I think that was that was Vettel got pole. Who was second? I think it was Mercedes
Hamilton.
1,
Lewis.
2-3. Yeah, Mercedes
Fantastic
2-3,
lap
which
actually
is
from Lewis Hamilton. It was
Then
brilliant. His car just didn't deliver, but he was as good as ever. I think
it was both.
I think sort of this constant, the new media age. Hamilton has 3 slightly off-color races. He's lost it. He's not the same Lewis Hamilton. It's complete bollocks.
I think Bernie.
I'll say-
put it
Bernie said it.
down.
but then it can be turned the other way around. Sorry, but then it can be turned the other way around. Lambert's with, he wins one race and everyone's saying, "Oh my God, there's a godsend. He's the best driver ever."
Well, he is.
It's the way.
but,
Again,
blessed.
I found
That's a
out
whole
I
other
actually did
debate.
discuss this with
I
you
don't
as
think he's the
well.
best driver in the field.
It's not
I
the
personally don't think he is. But it's
who's
just
better?
Vettel. I will say it. Vettel is
Oh,
better.
God.
Raikkonen.
Vettel is better.
Sebastian.
That's my.
I feel this is starting to
Oh,
slip
the
off
comment
topic.
section.
Oh, you're funny. You're a funny
Let's
man.
just
I think maybe
go
we should
back
save
on
it
the
for
actual
another
topic.
Yeah, should we stick on to the actual race and not who's the best driver? We could do an entire week podcast on.
Let's just finish quality top 10. So then 4 and 5
yeah.
we had Ricciardo and Verstappen, P6 sadly Kimi Räikkönen. Then 7 and 8 Force India, Esteban Ocon and Sergio Perez doing great again in Azerbaijan.
Ocon
And
was
rounding out the top 10, we had Hülkenberg and Sainz.
Can we
followed
just
by
like,
both
note
Williams.
Williams
Yeah.
in 11th and 12th. In 11th and
Which
12th.
something to point out. And
Right,
Charles
so-
Leclerc 14 for Sauber, first Q2 of his career.
Yeah, I suppose to go on to Williams, I mean, that's quite a nice result for them. Obviously, they've had a really horrible start to the season. And obviously, it's a straight line track, and Williams are known for their straight line speed. So it was quite nice to see Stroll get up there as well, because he's been looking completely down this whole season so far. And yeah, well, we'll come on to the race, but I think it was definitely a positive result for Williams there.
Well, the irony about Williams this year is the thing about them being onto a straight line speed track, their car is actually slower than that straight line this year because they've tried to put more downforce on it, but it just hasn't worked. So and because of that, they've now lost their straight line speed edge. They've obviously still got some, but it's not as predominant as last year, let's say.
And with Ferrari improving their engine, it means that the entire midfield bunched up even more.
Mm-hmm.
There's no Sauber ahead of them.
Yeah. So I think that is everything to talk about in quali. I think it was quite a bog standard quali. Obviously, there's a bit of a drama somewhere, some there. But let's get on to the start of the race, and I think lap 1 proved to be like last year's race. It proved to be quite a handful, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, just mayhem.
Yeah, a lot of incidents at turn 2.
I think
I think that was.
Perez hitting someone.
A Perez.
I think Sorokin dived in quite late on. I don't know. I think it's one of the Williams dived in quite late, which pushed Hülkenberg wide. But then, obviously, going onto the straight, Hülkenberg. Well, I mean, I think he kind of effed up. He effed up.
Sorokin was in the middle.
Sorokin.
Alonso.
Yeah, he basically got sandwiched.
Hülkenberg, and he couldn't do anything.
Hmm.
I think Sensu Ericsson had an issue as well. I think
he hit Magnussen, which
Yeah,
Jeebus
well,
was
I wouldn't say he hit. He basically T-boned Magnussen into
I
turn
think
2.
like something big happened. And
We
then
just get rid of
10-3.
Ericsson.
Yes, there's a lot of debate about. I saw it on Twitter, and a lot of people were debating, but I don't think there is a debate, to be honest. I think, in my opinion, obviously, I know you guys might disagree. It is Ocon's fault.
Yeah, it is.
Disagree.
Agreed.
Disagree.
I think it's Ocon.
Explain, how is he supposed to get over?
Where was Kimi going to go?
Wait, let's hear everyone's points.
Yeah, all right. So obviously we'll go on to people who disagree. I just want to.
Oh, go on.
Sorry,
No, you go.
just hear me out.
You go.
Like, I understand. Like, Kimi wasn't side by side fully, but he was still there. Like, his car was still there. Ocon could have easily left him room, and both cars could have got through. And I think personally, he still would have been ahead because Kimi Räikkönen had a harder turn in. But he didn't leave the room, which Kimi can't do anything. He's already put it down the inside, and he was looking for the move, which he would have got. Ocon turns in, and then contact happens, and then Ocon's out of the race. And I will hear your side of it, Lamberts, but I just think Ocon there, all the time you have to leave the space, and he did not leave the space there. You've got to leave a space when someone's on the inside, especially on a track like.
After.
Can I say something?
Right.
I
Sure.
have found the official Stewart's document of that incident, and Ocon was told by Stewart's that he cannot just assume there's no one there just because he can't see them. That was actually a thing he was told directly by the stewards.
Yeah, exactly. Like
But I thought he knew he was there.
He didn't.
What he said on French TV, he said that he thought Raikkonen had backed out a bit, and when he made the corner, he thought that Raikkonen had let off the brakes, which means that then he was there and he couldn't see him in his mirrors.
Yeah, just to point out, the driver of car 31, Ocon, stated the last vision he had of car 7 was on a straight after turn 2, which the two cars had negotiated, and they did not see car 7 on the inside into turn 3.
I think it's a racing incident more than an
Yeah.
actual.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Actually-
leaning between racing incident and Raikkonen's fault.
All right. Let's hear why you think it's Raikkonen's fault, Lamberts.
For me, it was a half-assed move from Raikkonen. He wasn't committed to going down the inside. Ocon was on the racing line, or more on the racing line than Raikkonen was. For me, as far as I'm concerned, that means that it's Raikkonen's responsibility to get out of the way and not Ocon.
Well, I can say, yeah, I can partly agree that he kind of
Ocon was ahead.
backed out.
Ocon was ahead. It's his corner.
He was ahead.
Yeah, but he wasn't ahead
He
fully.
wasn't fully ahead. Kimmy was
Yeah,
near
he
enough,
was.
more than halfway alongside.
It's like I had an incident in AOR. I'll just bring it up. But basically, I was with some guy who was nowhere near. Like he was on my back tire, and I turned in for the corner in China, and he clipped my back tire. And from looking at the back of it, I could have left him more room. It's all about situational awareness, I think. And Simon was saying about that he didn't know that he was there, but you've got to assume that a driver's not going to just back out there when Raikkonen, I think, at the.
Oh, I mean, you make a good point. Like, if I was driving in AOR, like I'd done the Baku race in our factory week before. If I was Ocon, I definitely would have left the room.
Yeah.
As a racing driver, 100%, I would have left the room.
I've got the picture on my screen of when Ocon starting to turn. When he starts to make the corner, Raikkonen's front wing is at just behind his side pod,
it's right outside the side pod, I would say.
So I don't know why Esteban couldn't see him. I'm guessing you just assumed that Raikkonen would brake.
Well, yeah, but there is a point where you can't look in your mirrors anymore. You have to look
of course,
ahead.
Of course.
So
But then he just clips the inside, kind of like last year's incident, Kimi Bottas in turn 2. Like they both got clipped on the inside, and
that was a little bit more racing, isn't it? Because there just simply wasn't enough room.
Yeah, and Bottas kind of jumped off the curb, so it's a little bit different.
This one I would say is still a racing incident. I
agree with that.
If anything, I'm going to say it's Ocon's fault in per se, but I won't say I wouldn't say he shouldn't get penalised for that, because it was. You can see even both sides where they would say it's not their fault and it was just a racing incident. So I think I agree with the racing incident, the decision they came to.
Yeah, agreed. I think it maybe Ocon's probably more at fault, but overall racing incident, they both something they could probably back out. But
yeah, I think right. So let's go into end of lap 1. We saw a lot of people coming to the pits. Obviously, there was Ericsson, Alonso, which was incredible how he'd be able to get that car back.
Yeah.
Two wheels on my wagon, and I'm still rolling on.
I have so much admiration for Alonso. Obviously, I'm not so fan, but that 2 wheels, he could barely get the car into the pits.
He scraped the pit wall, I think, on the way in.
Yeah, he did.
I'm not gonna lie. When I watched that, when he was coming into the pits, as he came towards the pit box, I started to get worried. Okay, this car's only got 2 wheels. It might not slow down properly. But props to Alonso being the professional he is to be able to get the car properly stopped.
Yeah, it was not obviously it was nail-biting to see. Is he gonna? Also, is there going to be too much damage that he's retiring? Because obviously, I think Alonso he has a knack in that circuit to do quite well and take advantage of the situation. Obviously, being dealt a bad hand there, but I'd say going on to the end of the race, he made the most of it. And I think his end we'll get into the end results, but it was very good for Alonso.
He did well.
The amount of damage he had. I think after the race in the interview, he said there was floor, front wing, rear wing. There was so much damage to that car. But so props to where he got it home to finish.
Yeah. A guy who was obviously taken out, we've already mentioned him, Sorokin. That's quite unfortunate what happened to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Typical lap 1.
Also, pitting on lap 1, Kimi, after his accident.
Well, he had to change his front wing, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was expected, obviously, because he'd lost a bit of it because Thingy's rear left tyre gone all over his. So I think it was expected that Kimi was going to pit, but he made the most of it, as we'll get on to. But I think, would you agree it's all for lap 1?
I'll back on just to make a final point about Sorokin. He did get a 3 saying.
Yeah, free grid penalty.
Yeah.
For the collision with Perez into turn 1.
Yeah, which is
Turn 2.
Oh, turn 2. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, because he did dive bomb quite hard. I think it was him and Ericsson who both dive bombed, and it didn't work out.
He locked up, and then there was just inevitable contact.
I hate Alex.
Yeah.
We wonder why.
Completely ruined Magnussen's race.
I mean,
Well, I mean, Magnussen.
we'll
hasn't
talk
been
about
exactly-
Magnussen.
Yeah,
later.
Magnussen wasn't exactly innocent this race.
But he
Oh,
had
God.
massive
We'll-
floor damage.
we'll
And
discuss
Can we get
Because
onto this when we get
because
to
of
it?
Ericsson.
Right.
Right.
So right.
Back
let's
to
move
lap
on.
1 or
So,
whatever.
I think we finished lap 1
Lap
there,
one,
and I'd like.
I think it's wrapped up.
Yeah. Lap 1 has been wrapped up, and I'd like to go into a bit of a battle we saw between a works team in Renault and Red Bull. I was watching that, and I generally was obviously Renault on a faster tyre, but the moves that were made, even without the DRS, I think it was lap 2 to about lap 6 or something, until obviously Hulkenberg's incident. It was incredible to see both teams going at it.
Yeah, it was really
Well,
great. It was a great
after the
race.
safety car,
Yeah.
for the first of 2, maybe 3 times, Max Verstappen ruined Red Bull's race.
Yeah.
That move on Ricciardo was selfish, idiotic,
To be fair to Max,
stupid.
like he had an opportunity
I
to
think
win a
we'll
play.
talk about
Yeah, if he's got an opportunity, he should go for it, but
No, you
not
shouldn't.
without
Not in that
text.
position.
There's
Not in
one
that
thing that,
position.
like,
Because
No.
he had a problem. Maybe he didn't know,
Yeah,
but
didn't
he had
know.
a problem.
you had
His
no
problem
battery
had
left. I
Once
think.
he knew he had a problem, he should have let him through straight away.
But if you look at like the whole Renault/Red Bull thing, I think Carlos Sainz tried twice to overtake Verstappen in the main straight, and the effect of slipstream, like he caught up so much to Verstappen, and as soon as he went right to overtake, he just
also-
lost everything with the wind,
Hmm.
and then he
also-
got passed with the DRS. But it was like the amount of aerodynamics that is taken in count to overtake is quite mad.
Well, there was also the issue that Max had.
Yeah, he had no battery because he used it all in the
Used
first
it
two
too,
laps.
yeah, used it all much,
But
and it was his
about-
fault.
It's not like it disappeared.
Well,
He used it all.
To be fair, it wasn't his fault because all the drivers do.
I mean, he was in overtake mode for 2 laps. For
Yeah,
the
because
first 2 laps.
they always do overtake mode at the start of the race.
But he used it too much.
Yeah, but like, I mean, if
No,
you
it
use it,
didn't-
you
it
should
didn't
know that
charge
at one
as
point
much.
you won't have it anymore.
It didn't recharge as much as it should have. Like that must have been normal procedure. That
No, I don't think it was
on.
because his engineer said like that's because you're using overtake too much,
I
and it
think
was the same with Daniel Ricciardo eventually, a bit later on in the stint.
then the next topic I think is Hulkenberg's crash.
Oh yeah, that was frustrating one.
Yeah, it was.
I watched that. It's 2 races in a row in Baku where he's had his race ruined by a stupid mistake. The first one, obviously, going into the castle section area, going into that right-hander where he clips the wall and then he's broken his
Suspension.
front
Steering
right.
column.
Yeah. And then this one, he's at the wall and he's just got a puncture on his rear left, and it was frustrating to see because he was in such a good position as well, especially where Sainz finished up.
Yeah,
think
you
about
just look at the start of the race, and you just have a look. You see Hulkenberg's incident. That could have been such a great finishing position.
But when you
Especially
crash,
see what happened in the race, which we'll get onto later. You don't know where it could have finished anywhere.
I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
it
that
was
when you
turn
crashed,
5.
Renault was 4th and 5th, ahead of both Red Bulls.
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, exactly.
They were
Like that was
because they
that
were
was
in
big
much
for Renault.
faster times.
And they lost massive points with this.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Sainz obviously got
Sainz-
P4, P5 in the end,
Yeah.
which was really good. But just think about the potential. Obviously, with we'll get onto it about Vettel and everything, but it was just it was so much potential, and then again, it's been lost, and now they're still behind McLaren, who, no offense to Van Dorn, is being carried by Alonso. Really,
I think
current time.
we'll just talk about Van Dorn later because I need to talk about him.
yeah, a nice 5-stop, no 4-stop. But anyway, let's get on to the Red Bull Part 1, which is the close battles. I watched it, and I was watching it with my dad and my brother, and we were all saying it was really, really, really good to watch. Like I like watching teammates go at it. Obviously, we'll get onto it later, but it was quite fair, clean racing, wouldn't you guys say at that point?
I mean, until like the first main contact in turn 1, where like Ricciardo has to leave, he needs to leave room, sorry, for Verstappen, and Verstappen still hits him. It was good racing, but something was coming. Like everyone felt it. I think
Yeah,
everyone felt it on Twitter. Like it was not are they going to crash? It was when are they going to crash?
Yeah, it was a great spectacle to watch, but every time they seem to collide more. They seem to get a tire rub, then an aggressive squeeze. You just thought, okay, if this keeps going at this rate, they're not going to just tap and maybe lose damage. They're going to take each other out at this rate.
I'm pretty sure at one point, like, drivers have to be angry. Like, Ricciardo had, I think, a much better pace than Max Verstappen. And it's just like, he must be angry to be like 20 laps behind his teammate, knowing that he could maybe clinch a podium.
Well, it would have been more annoyed that he got past Verstappen and then out of the pit stop.
Yeah, and because, like, the tires were cold, because of, like, the cold weather in Baku.
Yeah, that was a problem all day for everyone.
Yeah, the undercut didn't work at all.
Yeah.
And Verstappen got DRS off a back mark.
Yeah, also.
Yeah, every time one of them seemed to get in front, because there was so much of a slipstream down the win, it was just, they seemed to get straight back past each other.
And then I think it's time to talk about what happened. I think it was lap 41?
Lap 40.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was lap 40.
Yeah, 40.
Lap 40.
Same lap as Turkey 2010, by the way.
Yep, the
Just for
controversial. This is going to. I think it's probably going to split a lot of people in this.
Oh,
but,
it will.
I'm going to start
Okay.
by saying it is both their faults. I'm sorry, it is both their faults in my opinion.
So
I don't
50-50?
know.
Or, like, is it
Yeah.
different?
I think it is 50-50. In a way, I can see why people say Verstappen, because Verstappen was it was a bit. I was a bit sketchy about that, but also it was when he was moving in the braking zone. However, Ricardo left his move like to the right way too late. I'm sorry, but if you're gonna back out of an overtake, I think he was going to back out and wait for turn 3. But if you're going to back out for an overtake, you should make it clear to the driver ahead that you are going to. Because Verstappen, I think he was going to go and he was turning right to go and get back onto the racing line so he could have the best turn in on turn 1. But Ricardo there, it was his fault as well as Verstappen's. I saw a lot of people talking about, it's Verstappen's fault because he's obviously. I think it's easy to blame Verstappen, and I think he was at fault, but it's not just all his fault. I think it is 50-50. What do you guys think?
Yeah, should we just
Well,
should we just go down the order for everyone's opinions?
Okay, sure.
We don't all get crossed up. So, Black,
So
what do you want to go
Blackmore,
first?
Yeah, sure.
Blackmore, you go first.
Okay, so I would say it's 80-20 Max Verstappen's fault. Because, so Ricciardo's behind. I mean, he's on 1 lap pressure tires. That doesn't really matter. But then he gets extremely close. He goes a first time to the right. Verstappen goes to the right, so that's his move to defend. I think they're only allowed to move once. So then Ricciardo sees a gap on the left. So therefore he moves to the left to take the inside, which wouldn't give him like a good corner, but still he goes left. And Verstappen then goes left and brakes. And Ricciardo he can't do anything. He's just stuck, and because of like aerodynamics and stuff, he doesn't have any like downforce. He just locks up and goes into Max. So maybe he was a bit eager to overtake Max, hence why the 20%. But Max shouldn't, it's like with Kimi, like Max versus Kimi in Spa, I think it was 2017 or 2016, I can't remember.
16.
Where he's 2016, where he's like moving everywhere to defend. You just cannot do that. Everyone said it back in the day that someday a crash is going to happen. We never knew when. I think today happened, like yesterday. Max, for me, is at blame.
Yeah, enough. Daniel,
It's a really difficult one. I'm more saying they're both. I'm saying they're both, but I'm leaning more to Verstappen, maybe 60-40, because Ricardo probably. What Ricardo did, he tried to do what he does to most people. He tries to sell the dummy to one side and then cut back. I think he did to Bottas in China. He tried to sell the dummy to the outside, then dive to the inside. You can see what he was trying to do, which would have worked if Max hadn't just did that little move to the left as Ricardo went to it, which is why I put Verstappen at fault, because he does that little, it's not a massive swerve to the left, It's just enough to stop Ricardo, who's got no downforce now because he's right under the back of his team, who can't stop the car, plus with the overspeed with DRS and slipstream. So he just goes right at the back of him and can't do anything to do. That's why I put Max at fault.
Fair
And
enough.
also the fact that he was also partly weaving down the main straight. I know that was just to break the toe, but it was still a bit iffy.
Yeah, there's a fair value. Yeah, is Simon's back?
I'll
Is he
just
back?
70 32 for Verstappen. Because it's Verstappen makes the 2 moves. He makes one to the right, one to the left. And the one to the left is basically what causes the set lack of downforce for Ricardo, meaning Ricardo manages to lock up right before he hits Verstappen. Of course, but Ricardo also left it way too late to brake as well. Like, he had so much speed, he should have braking at least, I'll say, 20 meters earlier.
Well, I mean, we saw in China that he doesn't need a massive gap to overtake, hence why he wanted to go in the left space that Max had left. But, like, when Max just goes left, there are, like, massive speeds. You just can't react and brake. At the speed. It was inevitable.
Yeah, with Ricardo, it's basically if there's a car width, he's going for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're no longer a racing driver if you don't go for a gap that doesn't exist. Like a sentence like this, just resume to Ricardo.
I don't think Ricardo goes for gaps that doesn't exist, because there was definitely a gap.
Yeah, I mean, you get what I mean.
Can I make my point?
Yeah, sure.
We'll go
I think it's
actually.
cheapest though. I think it's cheapest time.
Yeah, actually, we'll go after it all. Actually, we'll leave the most. Let's go with Jeebus now.
Oh, Jeebus. Go
It
ahead.
was very reminiscent of his race-winning move on Bottas for Ricardo, except Bottas was clever enough to leave the car's width on the inside for Ricardo to go, because you could see then Bottas made one move to go and defend the inside, and Ricardo saw a gap and went down the inside anyway. And Bottas knew that, and he moved aside because he knew there was no point fighting it because they were just both DNF. Max kind of he would have known that Ricardo was going to make the overtake, because A, his teammate is Daniel Ricciardo, and B, like, it's like the biggest straight on in Formula 1. Not officially, but we know what it's like. So he's hardly not going to have enough speed. So he goes over to defend. So Ricardo, did he go to the inside first, or did he try and go?
He moved to the outside, then dived back to the inside.
Yeah.
Inside.
So he goes around the outside, tries to, and then I'm trying to picture it now, and then I think Max moves to defend that way, doesn't he?
Ricardo kind of goes to the outside.
Max goes right, Danny goes left, Max goes left.
Yeah.
It
was like, I think Ricardo was trying to emulate his move on Vettel in 2014.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Vettel's trying all his might to defend, and yet he still just, like, manages to weave his way past. But I think, like, it's I agree with Blackwell. It's probably like about 80-20 Verstappen's fault, because you can say that Ricardo was too eager, but at the end of the day, this is, what was it, 4? It would have...
It was P4.
Yeah, 5 for P4, yeah.
It most likely, like, looking at the end of the race, it would have been P2. Possibly even the race win.
Even P1.
The race. Well, yeah. Then again, they needed the safety car to get there, so I personally don't think it would have been. I think it just been for competition.
But let's, Ricardo,
hypothetically,
but that's still like 22 points that's gone, which could be crucial.
Verstappen's only on 18 points now, which is,
exactly.
It's really putting pressure on him now, because he's now behind Hulkenberg, Alonso, obviously because they've finished, but he's now losing out massively, and I think he's not, as much as I give him a chance and I try to be impartial at this, he's not giving himself a good rep. As much as I love him as a driver, like, I love someone who's got that fire and passion. It's just his recklessness is just it's costing him dear, and I don't know if he's gonna have to be so much more careful going into the next race.
Well, if you just look at it in terms of, like, Red Bull this year look to have a very competitive car that can fight for wins, and if they're doing that, this is costing them so many points. It could end up costing them. Ricardo could have led the championship maybe somehow after yesterday if
Well,
it had
yeah.
all gone his way because he was so close.
Look
But
how-
if they're throwing points away like that, look how far behind Verstappen is behind the top two now, or how far behind Ricardo is. If
Ricardo's
they'd have
gonna
finished that race, they'd be a lot closer, and they could still be in the title fight. They might be out of it already at this point. We don't know.
Verstappen
But
is 52 points behind Lewis Hamilton already. That's a
exactly.
I mean, that's just it says everything. Look, this season as well showed Verstappen's immaturity. And going
Yeah.
back to
Can I make my point?
Sure.
No.
I think it's Geordie there.
Well, I mean, we got Georgie. Sorry, I know you want to make your point, Lambert,
Damn
but
it.
we got to go for it.
One more, Lambrex. One more.
You got-
Why aren't you called Mordy?
the Lambert's
Why aren't you called handbrakes?
Because he's Dutch.
Yeah, but
Alright, go ahead.
yeah, it's obviously it's not a racing incident because well, they're both at fault pretty much. I'd say not 50-50, but 100-100. I was gonna make a point, but I forgot it
Go
because
ahead.
everyone kept ranting.
I mean, you can. You can leave it at your what you're saying now because I mean it's quite a fair opinion.
Yeah,
I
pretty
mean,
much everything has been said already. So
And now Lambrex
I mean-
can finally get his point in.
right. I'll get the popcorn out. Lambert, it's your turn.
Go ahead.
All of the reasoning that everybody has just described is why it is 100% Verstappen's fault. You cannot move twice, especially when you're doing 215 miles an hour. You cannot move, not even a little bit. You cannot move twice. You move once, that's where you're going. Simple as that. If you move again, the car behind cannot react. That is it. The reason that Ricciardo hit Verstappen is because, firstly, you have the reaction time for braking. So that's already a few tenths. These people have the best reactions in the world. Still can't react that quickly. Secondly, speed starts to scrub off, losing the downforce. So Ricciardo tries to move right, loses control, hits Verstappen. That's why he hit Verstappen. If Verstappen didn't move twice, Ricciardo could have gone up the inside, probably 50-50 whether he got the car stopped, but both cars would have been safe. The reason that they crashed is because Verstappen moved twice. Simple as that. If you look at China last time, Bottas moved once. Good defensive move. Not enough, but he moved once. It was fair. Ricciardo moved. Got the move done. It was safe. It was fair. You cannot move twice.
What's the thing we've seen with Verstappen, not just today, it's been so many times, like Hungary 2016, Belgium 2016, so many times he's done things that kind of moved in the braking zone or weaved on a straight a bit. It seems to be a thing that just doesn't go away with him.
I mean, if you're talking about apportioning blame on one of the drivers, at the end of the day, if Verstappen wasn't there, then they wouldn't have crashed.
I'm quite eager to see what he's gonna do in the next Grand Prix because I'm like his father, Jos Verstappen, said that he was disappointed in his son, and I don't think that as a son you would like to hear this from your parents, especially in the media.
Exactly.
No.
Well, Verstappen needs a clean weekend anyway, just to get some
Yeah, he needs points.
kind of reputation back. Because at the moment, he's had every race weekend any form of accident.
He's only 6 points ahead of Pierre Gasly.
It's
He
quite
got all his
interesting.
points in basically one race.
It's quite interesting this season because it's the first season where he's really been widely criticised. Because when he was moving under braking in 2016, it was kind of like divided opinion slightly, and people were saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, he's young; he'll learn from it."
Exactly.
2
We're
years
here
on.
now, 2
Well, I
years
mean, the
later.
thing is, I there's some like, I don't mind him necessarily moving twice on the straights somewhat. That's slightly better. But you can't do that in a braking zone from 215 miles an hour. The slightest movement makes all the difference. And it wasn't like a massive move to the left, but it was enough. And it's just silly.
Mm.
He made the accident possible.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's all I think that might be all that we got to say on that, because obviously we've talked along about this. I did say it's going to take a long time. I think I think it'd be just a best to move on, if you like, just for the sake of just getting onto everything else.
So it's time for another rant about another incident.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear me.
Well then.
Yeah, we've got to move on. I mean, we want to make this one. We don't want to
We
drag
don't
on
want to go
too
on for
long.
like 3 hours.
Yeah.
Sebastian Vettel.
Actually, I was going to go on to
That's what
the.
The safety car and
You're
then
quite ahead.
the
Can- can-
baguette.
can-
Oh, were you going to go for
You need-
Grosjean?
Yes,
Yeah.
I was about to say the greatest quote I've ever heard from an engineer. I think
Ericsson
Ericsson
hit
hits us. Ericsson,
50 meters
I mean-
behind, and he somehow took you out. Okay.
I mean, like, unless like Ericsson's using some of like Into the Barrier's alien technology, I don't think you.
Well,
like,
the thing is,
he was-
it was not Grosjean himself that father was racing. That was actually his race engineer.
Yeah, his
That's what I said. His
teammate
engineer.
there.
I said his engineer. But
Unless
it was just
Ericsson,
like,
unless
yeah.
Ericsson had like a red shell, it wasn't his fault.
yeah. Unfortunately, Ericsson is he had a bit of a ping drop, so unfortunately he lagged
Yeah.
in front. But
Yeah.
it was quite comical to see, like, honestly, as a viewer. But you gotta like feel for him. He's trying to like warp his tires, and then
Well, yeah, just
know.
look at it. He started 20th. He was running 6th
Yeah.
at the time.
He
That would have
would've-
been one
he
of the
would've
best drives.
I would
Yeah.
just say Grosjean has had one of the worst luck this season. I think I don't think he has any. Yeah, he's the only driver with Sorokin yet to have a point.
Yeah.
But he has like the amount of like non-luckiness he's getting from each race is. I don't even know how to
What
explain
if
it
the
because
entire Haas team has been out of luck?
every time he has an issue, when it's like not the gearbox that breaks in quali, he's gonna have like an issue where he's heating his tires, or it's gonna be the brakes, or the wheel's gonna come loose in Australia where he was running 5th. Like he has, I don't know. I'm really sad for him.
Can I say something?
Yeah,
Apparently, Gunther Steiner has said that Grosjean is only a perfect driver when the car is perfect, and Magnussen can drive around the trouble a bit more.
Yeah.
Well, that makes Magnussen a better driver.
Well, what
Magnussen
Steiner
is
said
the
was
best driver.
that Kevin doesn't need the perfect car. He can walk around a car not complete.
So essentially, Roman Grosjean's like a shit Jensen Button.
Yeah.
So
That's a way of putting it. Yeah.
I've got.
I mean, he
Grosjean
won't
said.
make us meet.
Go ahead.
He won't make as many excuses Jensen Button did. But I mean, he's getting out of there, But you were saying Blackwell.
So what Grosjean said, he said everything was going smoothly. Conditions were like rather complicated. There was wind, like the car was weaving, but everything was fine. And then while heating his tire, he accidentally locked the differential, and he moved it from 2 positions backwards. So when he like activated the brakes, everything was blocked at the rear, blocked the wheels, and he just spun. So it was just like a mistake. It was not like. I thought for a second he just had lost control because he downshifted while turning and everything went wrong. But no, he just pressed the button.
Yeah.
It's driver error.
Did he press the red button?
unfortunately.
Yeah, it is a driver error, but I mean, he's an experienced driver. You can't do this. Not in 6th place as well. But
Especially when you're
press the red button. He still pressed the
in his
red button.
position. Just it's
and
frustrating
he's
for
yet
him.
to score it's harder. I'm pretty sure it's hard for Haas too.
It's become a bit of a like the Harry Kane meme.
Yeah.
I think they saw like a spoof stewards thing for the Red Bull incident, blaming Ericsson for the crash.
All Ericsson's fault.
It was Ericsson's fault.
It's like congratulations to Ericsson in P6, driver of the day.
Well, it's interesting to talk about Haas because they theoretically have the 4th best car,
I'm not sure that's
Yeah.
quite true.
I don't know if they have the fourth best car, but they
Theoretically, they
their
did.
points.
I think
They did
did
in the
have.
first race, yes.
Yeah, in Australia.
And then
Yeah, but-
McLaren and Renault have improved massively.
Well, this
Force
weekend
India improved as well.
And now Force India as well, yeah.
This
Yeah.
Yeah,
weekend,
but then again, Force
Oh,
India,
man.
it was their track. Sorry for interrupting you, but it was just like it was their track, like kind of thing.
True,
I think
but
if we-
it's still like promising.
Yeah.
Promising.
If we look overall, Haas have the fourth best car, and they're still 8th in the championship.
They have
Hmm.
11 points, only
Yeah,
with
they're
Max.
behind. They're behind Toro Rosso.
Yeah.
Well, this season's been kind of it's been up and down because every race we've been to, a different kind of midfield team has appeared. Like
Max is only 1 point ahead of Sauber. Sorry.
Well, I think it just shows you, just like with the battle at the
Sorry.
front last year between Ferrari and Mercedes, it's not just about how quick your car is.
Yeah.
What I think for me, what's equally important in Formula One is operationally how good is your team. And
Yeah.
like we saw last year, Mercedes were far superior to Ferrari. I think Haas are being shown up a little bit in terms of their operational.
well,
Like,
in
sort
look in
of-
comparison to like McLaren have like 1,000 employees, Haas only have.
No, but
100.
yeah, well, I don't think you can use that
Haas is
argument
private.
because
as well.
Force India never mess up ever.
They did in the first.
They've
3
got
rounds.
Indian workers.
Well,
Okay,
Do it for the unpaid workers.
But yeah,
why
Haas
just
have-
no? Can we not?
Alright, sorry. Let's like go back to the race. I think
No,
Grosjean's finished.
Jeebus was about to say something.
Yeah,
sorry.
can I just say that Haas have been very unlucky. You look at China,
Well,
because
not
it's
in
safe.
Australia. It was their fault.
Well,
It's
no,
still
it wasn't.
unlucky.
That was luck.
It's still unlucky.
Not
That's-
really. I mean,
Well,
then
right,
it's,
right,
it's
right,
their
right,
fault
right.
that
A
the
lot of
gun was
te-
in the wrong
Well,
position.
they can't because they're a small team and they've only got a certain number of people. And you have to do the
So
exact
Force
same
India.
as all the other teams.
No, but like, look.
Well, the same could have happened to.
Well, it
and it's
didn't.
also to do with the
But it didn't.
Ferrari wheel
Wait,
knot.
is
It's also
Grosjean's
to do with
crash
the Ferrari
unlucky?
wheel knot because
No, Grosjean's
Yeah.
crash is just stupid. It was his fault.
But is like stupid can be unlucky.
No,
Yes, it
stupid.
can
No,
be.
if it was
I think
stupid,
it's
it's not
both.
unlucky.
Okay, right. If he had done that at any other period of the race, perhaps he wouldn't have spun out and crashed into the wall. If you'd done that on a straight, he wouldn't have crashed, would he?
It depends. It's like
Yeah, but
as
it was
soon as
his
he's
fault.
hitting brakes.
Yeah,
It might
was
be his fault, but
it
it's
was
still
his
like
fault.
it's still unlucky
Yeah.
that he did this.
yeah, but the thing is, he unluckily knocked the switch. It's not like
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's not like he
It's not
voluntarily.
like he went fully like down. Like
he didn't just
on a
go right.
differential.
Let's just have some fun, change the switches. He just went.
Just like
Yeah, I know he did it accidentally, but it's still not unlucky. Unlucky is like losing a race because of a virtual
I think
safety
Lambrix
car.
might get some hate.
It's
I-
a, bit like, it's a bit like Hamilton this weekend was shit. And
Yeah,
then,
he got
like,
lucky.
He won
Yeah.
the race.
the luckiest fucking thing I've seen, but we'll get onto that.
Hmm.
But just
So he got lucky, yes.
so.
yeah,
He
Then I
drove
think
poorly this weekend, bar
I think we need to get off Grosjean and
Yeah.
lucky.
Yeah.
Let's
Let's
stop
talk to
deciding
Vettel.
luck
I need
and
to have
unluck.
words about Vettel.
Just- I think one thing that has to be. Go ahead.
All right, let's get on. Let's get on to the safety car restart.
Yeah.
Bottas, well, he
He
well,
did a fantastic
well,
job at the
Yeah,
restart.
both restarts on the safety car were great.
Yeah.
yeah.
I-
I mean,
But
what was it?
everyone fell asleep.
Yeah, Vettel did an incredible job about his first safety car restart, and then he got duped by Bottas in the second one.
Yep.
It was a really good start.
He tried to turn one on cold tires.
I think
That was dumb.
it was just stupid, and
Yeah.
I once again, Sebastian Vettel messes up when the heat is on.
I think Vettel had to do that move. Though.
I don't think he did.
I think he did.
Why?
Because
He had to
Bottas
do it.
would
He
have
have
won
waited
it.
one lap to get like some heat in the tires.
He's got to think about the
No.
championship. This is the reason why he loses championships.
Yeah, we've also got to think that he had Hamilton behind him, and if Hamilton, I think Hamilton would have gone for a move if he didn't have the inside.
Yeah, I
don't
think
think
Vettel
so.
did it also.
No, I
for-
think Hamilton was too busy worrying about Raikkonen.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, Raikkonen got it past in the end.
But yeah, like, so turn one incident, like man has no tires anymore.
But like
Gets
this is the
overtaken
like
by Kimi and
if I go like for the bigger picture, Vettel could have just slotted in and been second on the road, and then he would have been first because Bottas got the puncture. Right now, yes, if the championship didn't exist, then yeah, of course you go for the move. But every single race, this is what Lewis Hamilton does so well. Every single race, you have to think about the championship. It was a risk that you didn't need to take because he could have come second, and that would have been a fantastic result for him in the championship.
But he could have stumped in the wall.
I'll say
But after China, you've got to think. Sorry, but like when he got BM'd by Verstappen because Verstappen's reckless,
Dickhead.
yeah, like Vettel was probably going to get into a podium in China, yet he gets 8th because of saying it's not he can't control.
Yeah.
True, but that's
He's
not his
thinking,
fault,
no, he's not. No, I was about to. Wait, you're like echoing Blackwell.
Sorry.
Yeah. Basically, all I was going to say on to this point is that the fact is with what was it, Vettel, he's thinking about the gap after losing that much points to Hamilton. He's thinking, I need to get that back.
Well, yeah, but he would have got some of that back.
He was still ahead.
Well,
Who's
how
to the
would
head?
he wouldn't have known that at the time.
Yes, he would.
I think
Of course he knew Hamilton was
How
behind
would
him.
he have known? How would he have known that Bottas would have got a point?
That's not what we're
Yeah, but
talking about.
he
He knew that Hamilton was behind
so
him.
Yeah,
he was
so he
eventually
did- he
going
made
to
the move,
increase
he
his
made the
gap.
move.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you put yourself in those positions, then you get the luck.
And it's the thing that you say that Hamilton doesn't do this. But what about Spain 2016?
Well, yeah, but that was Rosberg's fault as far as I'm
It
concerned.
wasn't
But
Rosberg's fault.
then, yeah,
Okay,
but like
can
that's
we?
yeah, but it's a completely different
Can we-
issue. It's a completely
Can
different
we
issue.
stay on track?
Because you're saying that
please?
Hamilton never goes for those incidents when he's looking.
Can we stay in Baku?
Yeah, let's stay in Baku.
Yes. Because let's just leave because this is going to go on for too long. I'd want to leave that because we've
I
got
just,
things to talk about.
Make a point about Bottas doing when he jumped everyone in the pit stops.
Genius.
Great strategy.
Basically-
Ferrari fucking bottled it.
Well, Ferrari messed it up once again.
Vettel on
Well,
fucking soft.
well, basically, the point I was going to make was Mercedes basically did to Ferrari
What they've done in
what
Australia.
Ferrari did to Hamilton in Australia.
Sort of, but Ferrari.
Mercedes
had-
banked
Ferrari-
on safety car.
It's not the
Ferrari had
same
the
thing,
chance-
I know. but
Ferrari had the chance to stay in
theory is
front.
that-
Ferrari
Yeah.
could have taken track position, and they didn't.
No,
Yeah.
what? No,
Yeah,
No,
no.
Vettel would have come out in
they
front.
Right, they didn't
Can-
know there was
can-
going to be a safety car. They went for the safe strategy, which was super soft, as Hamilton did, because Mercedes thought that Hamilton was the front driver. They used Bottas
And
as
that's
an
the
alternate
problem with
strategy.
Ferrari. They think they only worry about Hamilton and not about Bottas.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think
they
that's
used
true.
because Hamilton had flat spotted his tires, so they more or less had to put him on that strategy, and then
Sure.
Ferrari had to cover off Hamilton.
yeah.
So
Can
they
I
left-
just say
so
something?
they left Bottas out in case there was a safety car to do the super soft, ultra soft, because the tires lasted much longer than they had anticipated.
Yeah. Can I just
And my
say something
point
about
is
the
that
championship?
at the virtual safety car, Bottas pit, Vettel could have carried on, and would have been in the lead. I think. I might correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he would have had enough. That's what David Coulthard said.
Wait,
Can I?
when?
Not the virtual, the safety car in Baku. I think David Coulthard said that Vettel would have been in the lead.
No, because there was a safety car at the start of the race, and there was one for the Red Bulls.
Yeah, exactly, and it was that
But you'd
moment where
already-
he lost the lead.
He had already pit. He was
But
already 12
Vettel pit again.
Did he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he went.
he
He,
did.
he
Yeah,
pitted
but-
from softs to ultras.
Yeah, he went on.
Yeah.
He could have stayed out and he would have
Yeah,
been.
he could have stayed out and he would have been in the
Yeah, but-
lead.
The
With-
softs,
And he probably would have won.
But on dead tires.
the softs were dead
Yeah.
tires, and he would have been gobbled up on the straight.
Maybe so, maybe.
No, but I think what happened with Vettel going down inside might happen with, Bottas going down inside. But one thing I was going to say about the championship, you guys were talking about the championship, worrying about Hamilton. I was calculating it, and in fact, if Bottas had won that, he would be on 65 points. Hamilton would be on 64, and Vettel would be on 63.
There you go.
So if he hadn't have had that puncher, Bottas would be in the lead championship right now,
Oh,
which is
Bottas has been-
incredible.
Which is great for him, to be honest.
Bottas has been better than Hamilton this
Yeah.
season.
So far,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yes, race-wise, definitely.
Yeah.
Hamilton just, because Mercedes can't get their tyres to work, Hamilton isn't 100% happy. So he just falls off.
But he's a bit like Jenson Button in that respect. When the car isn't quite in the window that he likes, he just loses a little bit of that edge.
It's a bit like what's happening with Haas.
Yeah.
Plus,
I think this myth about Mercedes having the best car is completely debunked now. Ferrari have the best car.
Yeah, and the thing with Bottas is when you get to like low grip circuits, he seems to always have the edge. Because the thing we saw things like Russia last year, he was ahead of Lewis all weekend.
He completely winced him in Monaco.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't know if that's all we got to say on that safety car.
Well, then the restart and Valtteri just hitting the carbon bit on the road.
I was just so unlucky.
Yeah.
I was so sad. I was devastated.
Well, we can talk about the reason why that piece of debris was on the track.
Magnussen, Gasly,
Hello.
Magnussen's such a day driver.
Squeezed him in the wall and made him take
He's the
off.
most aggressive driver.
Like I actually like Kevin Magnussen. I do.
I do not.
I think he's a fantastic driver.
Shut up, Blackwell.
What the fuck is he doing? What the fuck is he doing?
He had vibrations and
He's just being an absolute dickhead.
Apparently,
I accept. Right, he was in the wrong here. Okay.
It was so dangerous.
He couldn't see anything.
The thing
Why?
is,
You can
can
still
you
feel
say-
that there's a car on the inside.
You can hear it. You can
I
definitely
place-
hear
And
it.
you can do
I
it
place
twice.
I place more blame on the team
What?
and Charlie Whiting for not bringing that car in.
What? Just to go back on this argument, we went to this thing about we were talking about Ocon. You think that if you know there's a car there, you leave space.
Well, the thing is, Magnussen told Danish media after the race, as soon as he came out the first interview after he came out the car and such, that he simply couldn't see out of his left mirror, which is the one where Gasly was in, simply because the vibration was so big that it was basically impossible to see anything out of the reflection.
You can feel that there's a car in. You can feel that there's a car just next to you. You
Oh,
can hear
yeah,
it.
he did,
You
he
can't
did.
do it twice because EA does it like before the start finish line, but then he does it as well when Gasly tries to overtake again.
You don't know he's there.
That's the thing, he does.
I mean,
Yeah,
you
but
can't
you
find
can't
I will
have
admit,
to
I will
shoot
admit, it was
twice.
a really dangerous thing by Magnussen, but he couldn't see anything. As from as I resaw the clip back, as soon as he feels the contact with Gasly, he moves far right as he can.
Well,
and
you
he
would
comes
do.
back on the left,
Yeah, and then he did it again.
and then he
Did he?
does it again. And
He
I'm
doesn't
sorry,
do it.
but even if you can't know that someone's there, you just the same case with Ocon. Like you have to remember that there's a car on the inside, and he probably
Well-
didn't back out.
Oh, he didn't know if Gasly had gone to the outside either.
Yeah, I think you have to assume. You can't assume anything.
Well, what if Gasly had gone to the outside and he had assumed he had gone to the inside? So then it's a massive crash on the start-finish straight, and he gets the race banned because he can't see anything because Charlie Whiting and the team haven't brought that car in because it's too dangerous to drive. It's just.
I mean, in that case, it's up to the driver to retire the car. If you
Well,
can't,
then
if you don't feel
you've got-
like you're able to drive it, just retire.
We've got to think that the team would have probably told him, "Don't retire the car because we've got a shorter point."
Yeah, I read it up like saying the car was because of the mirror problem. Because of the mirror and damage and such. Saying that car was illegal to drive around, which is also why he got the penalty. But that car was definitely dangerous to drive around.
I think that's the end of that point. I think we should just move on to the race results now.
Yep.
So obviously, Hamilton took the victory, which obviously we've established was from just. I mean, it was luck, but I mean, it's just it's just what can you do sometimes with Bottas, obviously.
It's the luck of it.
Perez got past Vettel after that. After he destroyed his tires. Sorry.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
then,
he had
yeah,
So
huge
Kimi-
flat spot.
Kimi second.
yeah,
Sergio third.
Perez got third, which is which is amazing for the Force India team.
Yeah, especially seeing the season they're having.
He's now, I think, the most successful Mexican driver in Formula One. With his 8th podium.
Probably.
It's a good achievement, isn't it? Considering they had like Ricardo Rodriguez back in the 60s.
And strictly speaking, I think he's the most successful driver in Baku now with 2 podiums.
He has.
Because no one else
Yeah,
has 2
yeah,
He's
podiums.
the only driver with
Which is
2
funny
podiums
enough.
at Baku. Only driver.
And
Well, that obviously that's the podium. We've got Vettel in 4th. Obviously, he's been a bit disappointed. Sainz in 5th. Good drive from him.
And
then we get on to driver of the day.
Charles Leclerc.
Charles Leclerc.
One
My
of the
boy.
performance.
What a drive! He was 5th at 1 point, and when Sainz overtook him, I was like, "Nah, fuck off, stay behind."
Literally, when Sainz went past, I was like, no, leave him
We've
alone.
already got top 5. Let Charles have one.
Leave my Leclerc alone.
Yeah, exactly. He might not be
But
friends,
yeah,
but I remember him.
Yeah, that was incredible. And then obviously Alonso getting 7th. We've talked about.
Still
Lance
feels
Stroll
good
gets
wagon.
points for Williams. Well done to him as well, because
Finally getting points.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably the only points they're going to get this season, maybe with
Oh.
Canada.
Nice Mercedes.
I think Italy, isn't that?
Yeah,
on the-
maybe Monza. Yeah. True.
Yeah, Italy maybe.
And then I just want to rant about P9. So
Okay,
fucking
we-
Van Dorn.
Take it away.
4 pit stops, probably the worst weekend an F1 driver has ever had, and somehow he's in the points. How? I don't think he went into Q2.
No,
He had
No.
Nah.
my boy.
he had
Russell.
no race pace whatsoever. He nearly got lapped by both Red Bulls when they crashed. I just don't know.
I think the only reason he got put onto that 4th set of tyres was to have a set of tyres that was warm. Was the only reason.
Yeah,
Which in the end kind of paid off, but
to be honest, fair play to him for getting points. The race of McLaren seemed it seemed doomed at the beginning of the race, and both of them being in the points is rather surprising.
Hmm.
But
see what
I
their
think it's-
VTEC car does at Spain.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a weekend to forget for Van Dorn. He got points, but again, as lucky as Hamilton to has his win is, Van Dorn couldn't think he's going to get points.
And then obviously Hartley,
Hartley.
sorry, in P10.
Yeah.
First ever point.
And
Fair
Marcus
play to the
Ericsson just behind him.
I think Brendan Hartley's first points for New Zealand since 1976.
Since what is it,
It's
McLaren?
also
I believe he's even also the first WC champion to ever score points in F1.
Mm.
probably.
Yep, and that runs up the top 11. Then obviously got Gasly and Magnussen, who the only other finishers 7 retirements, which is quite a lot for nowadays.
All by accident.
It's Baku.
All
Yeah.
by accident. And then that is the race.
And Magnussen done dead last 40 seconds in 5 laps. Was it 3 laps of racing?
4.
4.
For
But
Yeah,
he got
4
10
laps.
seconds penalty.
He
got a
lost 10 seconds per lap, and the guy who was leading retired.
He,
Did you see his? Did you
he
see
had
got-
10, he had
Yeah,
a
he
10
had
seconds.
massive penalty.
Oh, fuck.
his car got destroyed by Ericsson?
I mean, he out
Well,
of
he
the
did.
start was
He
destroyed
battled
at one
heavy
point.
floor damage. Like he said, he missed half the floor during the race.
Uh,
Or inside
Yeah.
the dashboard section.
it's pretty much a weekend race to forget for Magnussen, really.
Yeah.
Cars in general.
and
Oh,
He just needs to move on to Spain and try and forget about what happened.
It was a disaster.
Get out.
after.
That's Will Box's job, okay?
that was so funny. But anyway,
moving on.
that is the end of the Baku Grand Prix. We're going to do the race results. No, race ratings, sorry. Let's see. Good old race ratings. So I'm going to start with Black War. Your race rating and why?
I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. 8 because it was action packed at the end. The 20 last laps were, no, sorry, the 10 last lap was were very, very interesting. But the middle part of the race, like from Hülkenberg's crash to Verstappen, it was quite bland. But on the whole, and again, well done, Baku. Great race.
Yep. Daniel?
I'm going to say solid 8.5. It would be more, but there was just like China. There was that period of the race where there wasn't too much going on, but we had a lot of good action, and this is 3 good races in a row at this point, which is really good right now for the sport. So we've got to see whether Spain can continue it.
Simon?
9 out of 10, mostly because it was so drama-filled as it was. Like, especially like, the last 11 laps was basically just drama, one, like 3 different places.
Yep. Jeebus?
9 out of 10. It was madness, and Stroll got points.
Fair.
The Magnussen didn't.
Geordie?
Yeah, it was, 8.5, I guess. Also for that, like, dry period in the middle where nothing was happening. But yeah, it's 3 good races in a row, and that's not something we've seen a lot recently in F1.
Yeah, we're looking at like 2012 flashbacks here.
Yeah, indeed.
And Lamberts, your race rating?
8 out of 10. I preferred China overall, I think. It's good
Fair
race.
enough.
Not bad.
Even though Hamilton won.
Well, China was more exciting, I think, in terms of racecraft. But no, I mean, it was. I mean, I'm not complaining. Both still amazing races. I just thought China was slightly better.
This season
Fair
was
enough.
just amazing.
It's been incredible
Yeah.
this season.
If you look at just at this stage last year, the amount of complaining we were doing that there was no action, nothing was happening. Now,
Yeah,
it's looking really good.
The thing,
until Baku, there was absolutely nothing, to be honest.
Mm.
Like
to
last season.
think we were saying the same after Australia this year.
Well, yeah, exactly. We all looked at Australia going, oh, well.
I enjoyed Australia.
Yeah. I'm gonna. Alright, so for my racing, obviously, because I haven't done one, I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. I don't know if I gave Bahrain an 8.5, but I preferred Bahrain. I said this on Twitter, and I said I enjoyed Baku for the chaos, but I enjoyed Bahrain for the sheer racecraft and the just intenseness. This was like it was pretty much just unadulterated fun, just watching like people crash out, but. That's not why I like in like motorsports. I like things to be like, well, it was. I think Bahrain was an almost perfect race for me. Like I'd say that Baku probably had a solid 8 out of 10, but as I said, dry periods was kind of boring. But it's just the chaos which kind of put me off a little bit, giving it a 9. And that's it for the race ratings. I'm going to hand over to everyone else because we're going to do the race predictions for the circuit to Catalonia in Barcelona. And we're going to go to Blackwar, your pole and your winner, sorry.
As I said, like the whole year, I said Hamilton win and Hamilton pole, and I've been quite lucky with it. So Hamilton pole and Valtteri for the win. Also, Mercedes looked quite quick in testing it around Catalonia, so it's going to be a good race. I think.
Okay, Daniel.
I think it's tough because if we look at quali pace this year, Ferrari have been there, but then if you look at pre-season testing when we were at Spain, Merc were quick, so it's a tough one to predict. But I'm going to say Hamilton pole, Hamilton win.
Simon?
I'm thinking Philson's a good little has a good few races at the moment. I think that will continue. At least he'll get a pole, and I think he'll take the race one as well.
Jeebus?
Well, we've got harder tyres, so that should favour Mercedes. We don't know what Ferrari are going to be like on them. But just to spice things up a bit, I'll go Kimi pole and Bottas win.
Ooh. Geordie?
Spicy.
Yeah, it's been a Mercedes track in the last few years, but last year Ferrari was quite good as well. I mean, you saw the battles between Vettel and Hamilton, and Ferrari have maybe improved in quality as well. So I'm gonna say Raikkonen pole if he doesn't screw up again, and Vettel win because Ferrari.
I'm going to Lambrex.
Vettel pole, Vettel win.
And I'm going to have to agree with you on that one. I'm going to go Vettel pole, Vettel win, on the fact that I just think Vettel is in a rich run of form, just needs to get back in that race. But yep, that's all for the Baku GP podcast this evening. I've hoped you've enjoyed listening to this. We should enjoyed doing this podcast. Hopefully you'll see us around in 2 weeks, isn't it? For the
That's when Spain is, yeah. So.
Yep, for the Spanish Grand Prix. I've been Callum CRT, and say goodbye, guys.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Follow the F1 agenda on Twitter.
Stop hating on Max.
Just on YouTube.
I don't even follow it on
subscribe.
Twitter.
Hashtag happy birthday.